The Byzantine Empire is the eastern half of the Roman Empire. This symbol here shows the power of the king and his connection with Christianity. This will be a Roman Empire focusing on Christianity. Remember while you're watching the video to take Cornell notes. Today we're going to be talking about the new capital, the influence of architecture, split in the church, and Justinian Code. Today the city of Istanbul was once the city of Constantinople, capital of the Byzantine Empire. The term Byzantine Empire really refers to historians titling the change in Roman history. It's actually named after the original city of Istanbul and Constantinople, Byzantium. So one city, three different names. Yes, Constantine moved the capital. In fact, he didn't really move everything. He just built another capital. So he had a capital in Rome, and he had a capital over here in Constantinople. But why would someone do something like that? Here we have Rome, several thousands of miles away. We have Constantinople. Let's take a closer look here. When Constantine builds Constantinople, he's going to bring with him the most talented people from Rome. One of the reasons for moving it to the border of Asia and Europe is the location. It lies between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, and it also lies between Asia and Europe. This means that Constantinople is looking to make a lot of money off trade. Another reason why move the capital, or at least create a new capital over in the east, is that it is incredibly safe. Take a look. Constantinople is on a peninsula. The only way to attack it is from land, and so all they'll have to do is build a couple city walls, and it's going to be pretty safe. He's also closer to a lot of Christians in the world. This map shows the development or the spread of Christianity over time throughout Europe. So within the first 100 years, not a lot of Christians, but as you notice, they're mostly on the east, or at least Eastern Europe. Another 150 years, Christianity starts to spread, but it's mostly concentrated over in Turkey. Within the next 50 years, Constantine will build Constantinople, and it's there where most of the Christians will live. Remember, Constantine is a Christian, and he does want their support, whereas many people in Rome aren't Christian and don't support him. Well, of course, when he moves the most talented people and his soldiers and himself over to the new capital, he leaves the old capital in Western Europe open to invasion by Germanic tribesmen, warlords, or as the Romans would call them, barbarians, which will eventually end in the capture of Rome itself by Odovacer. Now let's talk about architecture. Most notably, the Hagia Sophia, or the Church of Holy Wisdom. This is not your typical Roman architecture. Usually when we think about Roman architecture, we think of the Colosseum. But here we have something completely different. Here we have a building that is going to set the standard for architecture for the next 800-900 years. Colored glass, high domes. The dome itself is 188 feet high, and 107 feet in diameter. The outside was purposely left plain. This was to symbolize earthly life, whereas the interior was ornate and decorated. This is, of course, to symbolize the spiritual universe. It's the Hagia Sophia and other works of architecture within Constantinople that'll influence buildings throughout the centuries. Now let's talk about Christianity. We have a little bit of a problem. As Constantine is a Christian and he moves closer to the dense Christian population in Greece, in Constantinople, he leaves behind the Pope. And over time, differences will start to form between the patriarch or bishop of Constantinople and the Pope, and the practices or the common practices of Christianity. Eventually, it'll start to lead to a split. The split is started in 730 by Emperor Leo III as he bans icons. You see, in the West and in the East, icons like statues, saint medals, little pocket books, and even paintings were used as art, and many people carried around pocket saint medals as good luck charms. They made a lot of money for the church because church monks would manufacture and then sell these to the Christian population. In the East, they felt that many of these icons were in conflict with the first of the Ten Commandments. So Emperor Leo III issued that all of these icons be destroyed. Now in the West, where the Pope in Italy pretty much ran the church, he disagreed. He said that icons were fine. They were just a connection to God. That the saints that were painted or in likeness were not the worship of another God, but just a go-between, a mediator, or a connection with God. And so our first division starts with icons. Over time, more problems and differences will arise. For example, in the East, where the emperor is in charge in Constantinople, he has taken authority over all religious leaders. He considers himself the king of kings and the king of all men through force and through religion. Whereas the Pope says he gets his commandments, if you would, his orders from God, that no one is in charge of him. Over time, more differences will arise, leading to two distinct churches. In the West, we'll have the Roman Catholic Church, and in the East, the Greek Orthodox Church. As you can see, some of the differences will include leadership, church services, and even the clergy themselves. For in the Roman Catholic Church, even today, the clergy members, priests, are not allowed to get married, whereas in the Greek Orthodox Church, they can. These differences will rise to a head and eventually lead to an official split as the Patriarch in Constantinople excommunicates the Pope and the Pope excommunicates the Patriarch, officially dividing and creating two separate churches, the Greek Orthodox and the Roman Catholic Church. Justinian's remembered for the Justinian Code, a uniform rewriting of Roman law, which is still the basis of civil law in many modern states. Emperor Justinian wanted to save in writing all the laws that began in ancient Rome. In ancient Rome, those laws were called the 12 Tables. Emperor Justinian collected up all the old laws and added new ones that gave his people even more rights. He called this body of law the Code. One of the laws in Justinian's Code states that a person was innocent until proven guilty. Can you think of any country today that has this same law? Well, I'm sure you do. Many countries do, including the United States, Great Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Belgium, and others. It's not easy to write laws that are fair for everyone. Our founding fathers did a great job with the Bill of Rights, but then they had some great teachers. One of them was Justinian. Justinian wrote laws that were fair for everyone because he thought that the needs of all the people. He did such a good job way back in 500 CE that new and existing governments still refer to his laws as guides when creating laws of their own countries today. Thank you for your time.